goofy mustache. Comedy.
Okay.
We're going on an adventure, Colin. Do you like adventures?
I do. Adventures, I like them.
Do you promise?
I like adventures, yeah.
Good.
Hi Kitty. An Evening with Beverly Luff Linn is the newest star-studded comedy on Netflix. This tale is about femme fatale Lulu Danger, played by Aubrey Plaza. Their mysterious past comes back to haunt her when her old flame, Beverly Luff Linn, comes through town for a one-night-only performance. Now, this is the newest film by Jim Hosking. He is the writer-director of The Greasy Strangler. And when that came out in 2016, it was a very talked about film for its oddball humor, which was also very gross out, and had a lot of horror elements that were pretty shocking. Now, I personally haven't seen The Greasy Strangler yet, so maybe at least in one way that won't color my opinion on this film of Beverly Luff Linn. So, An Evening with Beverly is a comedy, but it's also a bit of a crime thriller. What is my cat doing? I know, you're pissy. I know. Do you want me to pick you up? An Evening with Beverly is a comedy, but it does venture into the crime thriller genre. I would normally say this is a parody or a satire, but I will loop around back to this why I think I can't really commit to that. And that leads me to explaining the style of comedy that this is. It's very much in the use of odd-looking actors, tacky sets, really bad hairstyles, facial hair, outfits, and so on like that. Very much like Tim and Eric type sketches or an Eric Andre bit. Very much in that vein. A lot of stuff on Adult Swim is very much like this. There is so much over-reliance on that type of humor that I think other parts got neglected here. And on the other side, you have the crime, thriller, noir aspects of what this is. The whole story of Beverly Luff Linn is littered with tropes within that genre, just end to end. For instance, intrigue at a small location that all the principal characters are all in at once, in this case a hotel. Or a newly formed couple on the run with some stolen money. What this film rarely does is play with those tropes in a clever comedic way. An Evening with Beverly will run through the trope and just have the actors act weird in a semi-improv fashion. The few laughs I got, or minor chuckles I got, was when the comedy did start to play with the structure of that crime type of film, when it actually does get close to being a parody or a satire. So an example, there's a dinner date scene and somebody talks about their past in a way that's supposed to be impactful in the normal genre of that type of film. Like the Christopher Walken monologue in Pulp Fiction where he's talking about the watch that character's father carried through the war. But here in Beverly Luff Linn, that scene plays out with really infantile vocabulary and just the dumbest of premises. But even where some of that worked, some of the other direct satire still didn't even work directly for me. And you'll notice just looking at the poster, the cast, it is chock full of comedic talent. There is a lot of people with a lot of chops here when it comes to just comedy in general. It does seem like the buzz that The Greasy Strangler had behind that film had a lot of people lined up of like, I need to be in this person's next film. So like almost everybody in this has at least a decent background. There's not really many people that came from nowhere. And largely it feels like most of that talent's really put to a complete waste. In particular, Craig Robinson. He plays that Beverly Luff Linn character. He mainly just grunts in the film. There are exceptions. Two stand out. There's a guy who kind of looks like Weird Al Yankovic, maybe a little bit older though. The little bits he's in, I did enjoy him in that. So I did want to put that out there. The other is the lead Aubrey Plaza though. Her character of Lulu Danger does play to some of her comedic strengths. It's within her range and tools without being exactly the same as that character from Parks and Rec. It is different, but it's still within the range. And I felt she came up with a lot of the better improv feeling moments in this. It's hard to be able to say exactly this was improv, this was in the script, but there's enough moments in there where you feel like, yeah, there's a lot of improv in here. And hers, a lot of it worked for me. So like little bits of the riffing would not even necessarily be what you say, but what you do. There's a part where Aubrey Plaza is laying on her belly on a bed, and her legs are kind of swinging behind her. And normally that's supposed to play in like crime movies as like kind of flirting or something like that. But she moves her legs, like the knees of her legs, just apart to when they swing, it comes across as really goofy. And it's little things like that that work compared to a lot of the other moments in the movie where it just did not seem to play. Of just like, hey, just do something weird. The directing's pretty basic. There's some moments that are kind of like Wes Anderson type directing. That didn't so much play into the crime film tropes there, unless you want to like really go back to noir maybe, just because of, you know, having these static camera shots. That still plays into the Wes Anderson thing. I feel like there was some missed moments where they could have played with that more. I'm a person who is into scores of films. I felt this was dreary, distracting, and pretty annoying. At 2 hours, Beverly Luff Linn is just too long. This plays better, I think, as an Adult Swim show, you know, in 15 or 30-minute chunks as like a season or something like that. All in one go really exacerbates the parts that I don't like about this. So I give Beverly Luff Linn 1 out of 4 grunts. I do have a suggestion. If you have Prime Video, check out Come to Daddy with Elijah Wood. We love Elijah Wood on this channel, so just another reason to bring that up. There's some people who worked on the Greasy Strangler, I guess, who also were a part of Come to Daddy, like quite a few. And so you can really see from the Greasy Strangler what one set of people maybe did and what another set did. So I would check out Come to Daddy. It's pretty nice. Please give a like or unlike. Hope I saved you some time in knowing what to expect. Don't let spoilers run your life. Peace.